Okie dokie. Let me check something. Hold on a second. I'm new to this software that I'm using. I want to make sure. Okay, everything seems to be working good. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, here we go. So let me start off. I know no one's here and no one's watching right now, but that's okay. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. See, I forget things. Forgot to send a message to. Right, here we go. All right. So, excuse me. Sorry about that. How's everybody doing today? I know no one's here, but I'll be putting this up for viewing later on. So if you're watching this afterwards, and next time, get here early where the fun starts. So yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going on, and let me tell you a little bit about myself. If you don't know already, my name is Mr. Funk E Dude, and I am a recovering live streamer. What do I mean by that? Well, I've been live streaming for about 5 years, 6 years, and off and on. And I was serious about it at first, and then I tapered off, and then I left, and I barely did it at all. And now I'm getting back into it. I'm trying to get back into a regular schedule, regular way of doing things, the regular flow of things. And I'm trying to make a better go at it. I would really like to do that. And in that vein, I've kind of invested in myself a little bit more to encourage myself to move forward, because here's what I want to do. Let me explain to you what I want this live stream to be. I think this is part of social media. This live stream right here is a part of social media. And what do I mean by that? Social media is media that brings us closer together. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a social media. It's supposed to be about our society, about who we are. Okay. And I found that a lot of social media is about negativity. It's about negative news. It's about negative things in politics. It's about, people clashing over ideals and thoughts and stuff like that. Now, I've been on the internet for a long time. I was on Facebook when it was in beta. I was on Twitter when it was in beta. So I've been doing social media for a long time. And the social media today is a lot different than what it used to be in the past. The social media today is divisive, like I was talking about. In the past, it used to be more about just sharing our commonalities, where we were going to eat, what we were going to eat. People would make jokes about, all these pictures of people's food. But why were they? It was communal, where they were going, what they were doing. And yeah, some people took it to an extreme and they only showed the positive. But there were people out there who were sharing their lives, the good and the bad, the positive and the negative. And that kind of got pushed aside. That got pushed to a place where the only thing, like I said before, that exists in social media was pretty much divisive issues, politics, religion, things like that. And you just don't see that social commonality of the human experience that you used to see. And that's what I would like to bring back with this. I want this live stream. I want this, whatever it ends up being. Maybe it'll be partly a podcast as well. But what I want this to be is I want it to be something that is, how do I say it? Just positive, something that is positive. How you doing, Valiant Thor? What I mean is something that's positive that you can sit down with, enjoy. People can come in here and talk about their lives. People can talk about the things that are going on in their lives that are making them happy, bringing them joy, acts of kindness, things like that. I want to highlight positive news stories, things like that. So that's what I'm working towards. That's what I'm heading towards. Valiant Thor asks the question, you like stories? Yeah, sure, Valiant Thor. I like stories. Of course, yeah, loves stories. Doesn't like a good story. We're looking for positive stories. Okay, that's interesting, Thor. Hey, Wolfman, what's up? So Valiant Thor says, once upon a time, I was in the United States military and have not only seen ET spaceships, UFOs, but I was in one. My NDA has recently expired. I'm disclosing everything soon. Well, that's interesting. I hope you have a lot of success with that. Good luck. And of course, Woof. Hello there. Hello, Woof. How you doing, buddy? How's it going? Work treating you well today? I hope it is. I hope things are going well for you, as always. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Valiant. Have a good day. Hope things are going well for you. Hope things are chipper. Off early today, working on mask. Oh, that's cool. Hey, if you want to join me in the stream, I can send you a URL, and you can join me through either your phone, your cell phone, or what have you, if you're feeling like it. That dude sounds interesting. Yeah, maybe he is. Although I feel like I was kind of getting spammed. You know what I mean? I mean, he was nice about it, but I think it's obvious he's advertising himself. He's coming in here advertising himself. You know, it's fine. Let him do it. It takes a second, and then, you know, what have you. But yeah, so that's the thing now is I'm doing guests. I forget it's the other way. Oh, there we go. Doing guests and things like that, so I can have people come in and talk live with me and even share their video, and if they want to share what they're doing, like I can have roving reporters or something like that. It'll be fun. But yeah. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about just briefly, just for a few minutes, because it's just been in my head a lot. PC is warming up. I had to use the pull cord this time. Oh wow, that bad. So let me tell you about the change, everything that you're seeing here right now. You might be interested in this. Well, I haven't got this thing down here worked out yet. It's supposed to be like I need to have it farther spaced apart in the timing. I'm still working on. I have it like on timers. I haven't quite got the timing on it fixed, so sometimes it kind of clashes. Anyway, so what I'm using to do all of this right now is a website. It's all on website. I'm not using OBS or anything like that. Everything I'm doing right now is coming from a website, and it's called EVMux, EVMUX. Right? Hey, Doggo, how you doing, Doggo? It's called EVMux, and EVMux is kind of like if you've heard of Restream or StreamYard. These are places where you can go to the website and you can log in and you can multi-stream, right? And you can bring in guests and things like that. Well, Restream and StreamYard are similar in the fact that they do like EVMux does, is where you can stream from, your webs from the website, or you can, what have you, and you can bring in guests, and maybe they'll give you a little banner, something like that. Okay. But you kind of are stuck in their format. EV Mux, though, on the other hand, lets you do everything. Everything that you're seeing on here right now was designed within the website of EV Mux, right? From the little lower third things down here to me to, I mean, if I, well, I'll be right back. Watch. The transitions, all that thing is being done straight through the website. And what attracted to me about it is that, yeah, you can you record and clip? Yes, it lets you record. I'm not sure if the free version does, but the paid version does for sure. But it basically streamlined a lot of things for me. And it put everything into like one place, easily controlled, easily put together, easily layered through. Because what I was wanting to do before I've always wanted to have guests, and I've wanted to have the lower third comment thing, and I've done that before, but it was always cumbersome because I was dealing with, like, I had to monitor this thing over here and I had to monitor this thing over here and what have you to pull everything off. This kind of like streamlines everything for me. I took over a week going through this and testing out how to put it together. Yesterday was my first live stream with it. I had I had the free version. After a week and a half of looking it over, 2 weeks, and playing with it, around with it, and then testing it yesterday, I decided I had to get it. So I got the yearly for it because it just made things so much easier. It's amazing to me. I mean, how well this is working. I've talked with the customer service. They answered all of my questions within 24 hours. There are some things that I hope that they add to it that they haven't yet. I'm hoping that there will be a somewhat of a mobile version of this to be used. They haven't had that out yet. There are some hotkeys that I wish they would add. They haven't obviously done so. There's some things I would like to see them change, and I try to get them to focus on it. If you know what I mean, if you feel what I'm saying. So yeah, that's what all this is. This is what I'm exciting. I'm kind of like kicking myself to get more into a regular schedule, to do like live streams on the weekends. I'm gonna start at I want to try 3 days a week and 1 day on the weekend. Haven't exactly figured out when that's going to be or how that's going to work, but that's the goal. I might be playing around with different times, so we'll see. I think on the weekend might be a later kind of live stream, so we'll see how that goes. So, yeah, if you were a fan before and you haven't been around for a while, come on back. I think you're going to have fun. We're going to have fun with this. We're going to enjoy ourselves. Doggo, I was an alien tasked with kidnapping and probing members of the U.S. military. My NDA is up, and I will be detailing it all in my new book. That's awesome, Doggo. Technically, you could record it, then use that footage. Oh, yeah, you could do that. But no, the paid version, the basic that I'm paying for, it's a little button and it records it for you. And also, if you're multi-streaming to like YouTube or Twitch or what have you, they always record it for you anyway. So you can also grab it from them if you need to. You know, those like Twitch has a thing now that's set up to make clips. The clip, I think Twitch has a thing now where, and I think YouTube's supposed to be doing it too soon. I'm cheap, but yeah, the like making clips, not just making clips, making vertical video clips, you know, for like shorts and TikTok and things like that. So yeah, it's I'm just like really impressed with how well it works. In fact, I bet you I can show you right now. Hold on a second. I'm going to try something. Okay. Hold on. Okay, so it's probably too small for you to notice, but over here over here, over I can point this way there. That's my desktop. And although, oh, it's not going to let me show this, so never mind. It's not going to actually let me show my screen, but it's you should definitely check out EVMux. It's pretty cool. That's all I'm saying. I still use Wolfman. What? I used to use that VLLO you told me about. That app is amazing. Oh yeah, on your phone. Oh yeah, I still have it. I used it the other day. That is probably one of the best video editing app for a phone. I still have it that I've ever used. And you know what I like about it? Look, here's the thing. To me, there are two types of video editing apps, right? There's the serious and then there's the cutesy. That's what I call them. And if you look through the video editing and if you scroll through looking for them, that's what you'll find. You'll find cutesy or serious. The cutesy ones are the ones that are supposed to, highlight for your Instagram, make everything shine, has the latest, sparkles on it and stickers and things like that. And then the serious ones are the ones that they're about the editing, right? About getting in there and getting tight edits and having transitions, being able to control the video itself. Those are the serious ones. VLLO is, to me, one of the best, if not the best. I've never seen one that's better. Tago, I have a Twitch stream, but there's nobody watching, so me and the girlfriend have started making out on it. You might want to try website called Chatterbait. I think that's what you're looking for. Make you into a bunny or some shit. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, so that's the goal with all this. I'm going to have some fun, get back into doing this. We're going to talk about some fun things. I'm going to start highlighting positive news. I'm hoping you guys will bring me positive news as well. Things that are maybe you've caught or on social media that's a good, nice story about something. Even like video clips that you might recommend to me. Bring those things in. Send them to me on my Discord or Snapchat or what have you. And then I can cue them up. They even have that. Like I even have sound effects on this thing. This thing is crazy. Like, air horns and, something happened that's bad. Well, stuff like that. I hit it again. Sorry. So you can even do things like, there's music that you can add. Of course, you don't want to do copyright written, but like they have some little bit of pre-written music kind of stuff. That you can use and you can add your own as well. I like it. It's a pretty neat service. Wolfman, I send mine by Raven. Whatever works for you, buddy. Whatever works. I got a drink. I'm thirsty. Hold on a second. See, this thing, the timing is all off on it. I got to get that fixed. The one thing I don't like about it is that to use web sources, so like when people subscribe and the shit like that to get alerts to come up, that's the $40 version. That's the next step up. That's the pro version if you want that. It's the one thing I didn't like. But, to me, it's not really that big of a necessity. I enjoy people subscribing and things like that, and I'm more than happy to talk about it when it happens, when I notice it happening. But yeah, man, we're here about just the social aspect, the conversation, things like that. Whoopin says I actually did a notification for Hoag Hospital, you mean, and Irvine today. Yeah, I've been there. It's a good hospital. It is. Yeah, I still don't know where I'm having my knee surgery at. I see my doctor on. Oh shit! When do I see my doctor? Oh crap! When do I see my doctor? I'll look it up later. I hope it's. Wait a second. Now I'm like worried. Am I missing something? Like, don't I have an appointment coming up or something? No, no, not that day. Oh Jesus! When am I supposed to see the doc? I don't know, man. I gotta call him, find out. It's probably a good idea to know what the hell I'm doing. Back alley behind Applebee's, right, Wolf? Exactly. That's where the operation's going to be. Oh, you thought it was going to be at Hoag Hospital? No, it's at the Applebee's across the street from Hoag in back alley. That would be bad. It's weird to think that I only have like soon. It's going to happen in less than a month. I'm excited. I hope everything I hope it happens. I mean, you never know. You know, things get, how do you say it, rescheduled and shit like that first. Who knows? I mean, my doctor gets, COVID or something. You know what I mean? Keep the old parts. Well, from what I understand, there's not really any old parts. So let me think how I can describe this. So what happens is they kind of like your top of your leg, like the top. Imagine this is your knee here, and this is the bone that connects to it. They kind of drill a V into it like that, and then they screw in the part, and they kind of do the same thing to the bottom, and then they connect those two parts through like a plastic ball joint or something like that. And yeah, that's how they do it. So it's like they don't chop off anything and replace the top of it. If they chopped off the top of the bone on my knee there, I would totally ask them for it. I would turn that thing into like my cane stick, like my handle for my cane. That's what I meant. My handle for my cane stick, handle for my cane. That's what that would be really quick. But no, yeah, it's just going to be bone dust, ground up bone from the drill. Don't really need that. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It is the thing. But so anyway, yeah. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Sorry. So what's going on with you? You're working or you're off work already today, right, Wolf? Send you a link. Okay, give me a second. Uh-huh. Is it okay if I send it to you on Discord, Wolf? Or I'm gonna have to send it. Let me send it to you on Discord if that's okay. 1 second. There you are. Sending it on Discord. There we go. Sent it on the disking of the chords. JD, what's up? Last day of work for JD. Today is, huh? That's nice. You got a 3-day weekend coming up? That's awesome. What are you going to do with your weekend? What do you got planned? Anything good? It'll be a moment. No worries. Well, while you do that, I'm going to step out and refill my water. JD, hang in there. I'm going to be back in 1 minute. Don't leave. Okay, I'm back. Thanks for your waiting. Thanks for your patience. Appreciate it. JD, 2 weeks off in prison for 2 years, most likely. Well, it sucks for you. I hope you learn your lesson. So, as we wait for Wolf to join, no worries. Let's see. What is going on out there in the world today? I should have looked up some news beforehand, but I almost didn't think I was going to do this stream today until the last moment because um, Discord is updating. Okay, let me send it to you from, hold on. I'll send it to you on Snapchat. Let me grab the link. Tina Turner died. Yeah, that's sad. I sent it to you on Snap as well. I sent it to you on Snapchat too, if that's easier for you. A lawyer screwed you. Well, if you can prove that, you can get a retrial. Tina Turner died at like 83. She had a good life. Lived a long life. 83 ain't nothing to, you know. That's a good life. 83 years. Well, I assume she had a good life. How do I prove that? Well, I don't know, JD. It, it just, if you talk to another lawyer, tell them that you'd have to get another lawyer and tell them the situation, tell them what happened with the old lawyer, and ask them if you have a case. Because if the lawyer screwed you and you can prove that, that means that there had to have been evidence that wasn't produced, or there had to have been arguments that weren't made that should have been, that kind of thing. You didn't try hard enough, didn't care. Yeah. that can be difficult, man. After she got away from Ike, she had a good life. Yeah. I'm sure. Hopefully she did. Loved her music. She had a distinct style and a voice all of her own. But the world will miss. No one we'll never see the likes of her again for sure. And well, hopefully things will get better. So anyway, yeah, trying to think of some good things that have been going on lately. Finally made a decision about this. That's good. I feel good in it. You ever get like that? You ever have something that you're trying to make a decision on, and to you it might seem big, others it might not seem that big of a deal, but to you it seems big, and you are thinking about it over and over, weighing the pros and the cons, and you think you want to go with it, then you think you don't, then you think you do, then you think you don't. You know what I mean? Have you ever had that kind of a situation where you just are exasperating over this thing? And that's how I was about this. Yeah, I could argue. Yeah, I could see where that was going. Yeah. I've been doing this long enough to know when I'm being trolled, and I sensed it from the very beginning. Because here's the thing, JD, and I know you can still watch if you haven't left already. Nobody talks about those kind of things in live streams. Nobody but trolls. I've been doing this for on and off for years, getting serious back into it again. I kind of took a break, a hiatus. Yeah, but yeah. I could smell a troll from a mile away. But whatever's clever. Wait for Wolf. Hold on. Sorry, checking my email. How rude. How rude. What's some positive things that's going on? Well, the most positive thing that's going on for us recently is my girlfriend Tam being able to get her mother moved to an assisted care facility that's closer. We live in, literally, she was a half hour, 45 minutes away. And made going to see her difficult because of the time that it would take. Excuse me. Tam got her moved to a facility much, much, much closer. Much closer, and it's great. It's literally, I don't even think it's 5 miles away, maybe 7. I don't know. It's not far. She can get there easily in like 10 minutes, 15 with traffic, but it's not far at all. And so her and her sister and her brother have all been spending more time with their mom. Tam's been going there like 3 days a week and feeding her and bringing her food and taking care of her. And her mom's like 74 I think 73, 74, maybe older. I don't know. I don't know how old she is, but she's old. And very frail, very small woman, and she needs help. And we think she's probably slowly starting to slip into some kind of dementia. We're not sure, but there are moments. And so that has been a very net positive thing for Tam, being able to help her mother, being closer to her mother, because that's important to her. And I do everything I can to support that. So that's a good thing for Tam. I can just tell that is like, even though it's added extra responsibilities for her, it's in her wheelhouse of being a nurturing person, which she is one of the most nurturing people that I know. And I could see her really kind of like be more herself in that act of service, if you get what I mean. And that's an important thing as well. I like to recommend to you and to anybody else that's watching this right now that if you are feeling down and depressed, if you're having an issue dealing with the negativity that's all over life, if you need to do something to nourish your spirit, one of the best things that you can do, absolutely one of the best things that you can do, is volunteer. Volunteer your time at a hospice, go to a senior citizens center, anywhere, go to a blood bank, go to a food bank, go, wherever you can, where you can be in the service of other people. Because there's something that happens when we're in the service of other people, where what's going on in our lives kind of falls to the wayside and we lose ourselves within the service of others. Like, if you can help feed a bunch of people and still like worry about your boyfriend or your, whatever that's bringing you down, or worry about your, where you are in your life and how you're not succeeding and how you should be doing more and all this other stuff. If you can go to a food bank and you're still thinking about that stuff, while you're helping other people fill their grocery bags and helping them find certain items and things like that, when you're helping to entertain a little child that, you know, their exhausted mother has brought to try to feed and brought some food to get some food. If you can focus on your own shit while you're doing that, there's something wrong and you should see a therapist. I mean, that would be like a red flag. Because I never could when I did. And I've done all that. I've volunteered throughout my life at hospices, with senior citizen centers. I've done even like libraries and volunteering at libraries, you know, things like that, where I could be in the service of other people. And when I would feel bad for other people, sure. But I would feel more joyful that I was helping. Right? And the gratitude that people have. You know, some aren't grateful. Some are so wrapped up in the depression of their lives and the anger of their lives that they can't see past that. But it's understandable. And then there are others that are just grateful. Thank you so much. Hey, no problem. Can I help you take these to your car? Let me help you with that right now. You know, so those were moments in my life I will never forget. When I volunteered at a hospital, and I would sit with the terminally ill, and I would feed them and talk to them, and I would assist the nurses and clean the equipment, and sometimes help to bathe people, and sometimes, you know, help them get to the bathroom, change their bedding when they were on the bed, things like that. Nothing in this world will ever make you feel like a human, what it means to be like a human being, and being in the service of other people. I fully 100% believe that. And if you're going through those kind of issues, I totally recommend it to you. You're having problems, go serve others. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know what happened to Wolf. Wolf thought he was going to come in, but I don't. Maybe he's having issues with other things, updating and stuff. I'll wait for him a little bit. I was planning on issues. Everything is updating. Everything is updating. Everything is updating. That's cool. No worries. Oh, in fact, that reminds me, I got to update my my video card here. I forgot that I was going to do that before the stream. Now I'm going to do that afterwards. Afterwards. I think you'll like the guest setup. It's really good. Like Johnny was using it yesterday, and I've played around with it a little bit on my own, and it's really good. Not only lets you it lets you do a lot of stuff. There's like a private chat where you can chat with me privately when you're a guest. There you get not only see what I'm doing, but see what the like other guests are doing. If I have a bunch more guests, you know, things like that. It gives you a lot of control. It's really kind of cool how it works. You know, I'm going to shave tomorrow. I'll shave and re-dye my hair tomorrow. This is like, yeah, it's been like about 10 days, I think. My face is getting to that itchy point. That itchy point. So. Let's see what happens if I do. Good news. Let's see. Today.com. What's going on over there? In fact, let's do this. Get an idea what I'm doing here. Wait for Wolf to update his stuff. Share screen, definitely. There we go. We're going to look at good news. Oh, what is this? Is this? I hope this is recent stuff. I assume it is. Got some good news here. She asked for a toy that looked like her adopted son and never expected this response. What happened? An article, let's see, by Danielle Campomar. Kid. Let's see, let's make sure this is not like a 20-minute article that I have to read. Okay, what's the long and the short of it? Let's see. Well, maybe not. Let's see how well I can do this. Everything is updating. Okay, no worries, man. Oh, there you are. You're here, Wolf. Can you hear me? Wait, no, you're not here yet. Oh, there you are. Here we go. I see you, Wolf. I don't hear you. I mean, I don't see you. I don't hear you. Yeah, get those settings. I think I hear you. Hello. Okay, let me get you up there. 1 second. There you are.
Good grief.
Good grief, sir. You made it.
Every little thing I was trying to get into was like password, update.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you don't use things for a while. How's it going with you, man?
I'm good. I got a cough. Hang on.
Oh, no worries. Take care of that. Yeah, I'm going to take a drink of water here. I am thirsty. Thirsty. Everything cool?
Oh, yeah. I was. I remember vaguely the last time I used my computer. Well, it's been a couple of weeks because when I game, I just go straight to the Xbox. I got a monitor, and the Xbox is right in the same spot.
Right.
And really, the only game I was playing on PC was Valheim.
Right.
Now it's on Xbox. I'm like, sweet. I vaguely remember it asking about an update for Windows. And when I turned it on, it wanted to finish the update. And then Discord needed an update. And then they're like, oh, yeah, well, we need your
Everything
password.
needs an update. Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, okay. He sent it on Snapchat. Let me hop on. Oh, no. Well, we need to update to a new version of Snapchat. I'm like, oh, good grief. And then I was trying to remember passwords. I never did remember my password for Discord. It's on my phone. I was reading the message on my phone, but on the PC, I'm like, really?
There is, you know what, thinking of passwords, I really recently, like in the last, like since the beginning of the year, like February, I think is when I started getting into it, is password apps, like that store your passwords for you. So I have this app called Bitwarden, and it's on my phone and it's on my laptop, right? And what it does is it allows me to keep all my passwords in one place on either machine. And I only have to log in once. So what happens is, like, let's say I want a password. And what I'll do is I just put in my main password, and then it gives me all my passwords for everything else. It'll autofill it for me. It'll put all the information, that they need and everything. And it just makes it so much easier. I don't have to keep track of all my passwords. I don't have to, worry about any of that stuff. It's just all I got to remember is one password now. And it's that main password that gets me into that app. And then the app does everything else for me.
I've only got like 3 or 4 passwords that have a variation on each of them.
That's what I did before. And the problem with that is that I mean, maybe probably nothing will ever happen, but I was doing some reading and AI has fucked people with that because that's one of those things that AI is very good at. Like it will figure out like if you're using whole words or if you're using things in your even just like things from your life, like the name of your mom's last name and your dad's middle name and your birth date or something like that. AI will figure that shit out, right? They're looking for like personal stuff to figure it out. But if you have like a string of like, let's say 14 randomized characters, it has a much harder time of figuring that out.
Well, I got a much harder time remembering that shit. So
Well, that's what I'm saying is you don't have to. That's what I'm saying is you don't have to. I don't remember any of the passwords I do now. This app reminds me everything.
I'm not really good with apps. Don't get me wrong, I'm a little bit of a techie, but at the same time, it's like it's getting to the point to where it's like everything you do, you have to have an app, and I'm over it.
You're over the apps.
Yeah, well, it's like, oh, well, I need to make a doctor's appointment. Well, go on our app. I'm talking to you. Why can't you just put it in your little computer right there?
Because they have more important things to do than take care of people. They're a doctor's office. What do you expect?
Oh, don't even get me started. For those that don't know, I work in the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
And I talk to doctors' offices all the time, and most of them are actually really cool.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's some, they're just like, how the hell did you get a job in the medical field being as stupid as you are?
Yeah, right. Like, how are you still in business?
Right. Well, no, it ain't them, but it's like, just like your basic stuff. It's like, okay, well, what was the nature of the emergency? Well, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You're calling me to tell me some dude's going into the hospital and you don't know why? Even a vague description of what's going on?
You don't think that might be relevant information?
Right. Now, I mean, some of them I can understand, like where did the accident take place? They might not have that information.
Sure, yeah.
That's understandable. We try to work around that, but yeah, it's just the stupidity of people. Just the actual patients, I give them a little more slack because they don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, right.
And half the time they don't know what's going on when their shit happens. So,
but the people that are doing it every day should have a clue.
Right. Well, and it's like they want to get paid by my company. That's great. We want to pay you. We want to take care of the patients. However, fill out our form correctly. It's not that hard. I've only started in September, and I know how to do it.
Right.
But they don't fill it out correctly. It's like their chief complaint, they'll put like a paragraph in there, and it's like, really? There's only a few key words you have to put in there, and then if you put the diagnosis code where the diagnosis code goes, it would probably clear it.
Not rocket scientist.
No.
I mean, it's not rocket science, yeah.
No, they're not rocket scientists, that's for sure. It's like these people are charged with taking care of the health of others.
Right.
No, I will say it wasn't your hospital in Irvine, whatever it was. I couldn't.
Oh, Hoag, yeah. There's the only two around my place are Hoag and Kaiser.
I've had calls for Kaiser, not in Irvine necessarily, but Kaiser's kind of a popular name in California.
Yeah. They got a bunch of hospitals. So does Hoag. But yeah, those are.
Here.
Yeah, and hospitals around here are pretty good. They're, I've been treated fairly when I've had to go in. So.
Well, I mean, to me.
Yeah.
Hospitals are supposed to help people get better, or if they're injured, to fix them.
Sure. Yeah. That's more, I think that's more accurate.
Right. Like you with your knee.
Yeah.
You got a bad knee, they're gonna get in there and get the old what is it, the air tool, and get that thing up in there. Yeah, pretty much. That's
pretty much, yeah.
And they'll get you going, and then when you get out, you do your rehab, and then you'll be good as new.
Yeah.
So they charge outrageous amounts of money for
Yeah.
every little thing that they do. And I've actually seen bills where they've charged people for holding their own child. I'm like,
Yeah.
how does that work again? And
It
then they're
is
like,
insane.
well, we need to make money. I understand that. We all need to make money. At least here, I don't know about California because I've never been there, but at least here in Nebraska, we have, like I said, the CHI, I call it Center. That's the name of the arena, one of the 5 that we have.
Right.
Um, the CHI is one of the hospital groups, and University of Nebraska Medicine is another one.
Right.
Both of these companies have enough money to sponsor stadiums and have television commercials on, radio commercials, and all kinds of stuff. To
Yeah.
me, it sounds like they have a little bit too much because you don't need to advertise a hospital.
Well, yeah, it's the problem. It's because hospitals, it's not about making money, it's about making profit.
Right.
That's the problem. That's the problem, is that they're trying to make a profit. Now, I'm not saying that they don't deserve to have money and the doctors don't deserve to be paid, or and what have you, but I'm very much against hospitals like trying to make a big profit, because when your focus is on making money becomes the bottom line, not the people.
Right. And that's kind of my point in a roundabout
Yeah.
way. You can't see me, but you put it into a nice little point.
Yeah, that's the problem. And the funny thing is, everybody, and you know me, I don't get political. Everybody,
Right.
on no matter what side of the fence, knows that.
Well, the fence
Everybody
is raw. They
knows
just
that's the problem.
tear down the fence and get new ones. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, it sucks, but I'm fortunate, and I'm in California, and I'm on the state insurance, and they're paying for all this, so I'm very fortunate in that, in one sense. California takes good care of me, so
Oh, right on.
I'm
That's
happy
what
about
it's-
that.
That's what it's intended for.
Yeah, right.
Is to help people that do not have. I mean, because I know your story. I'm not going to blast it out there, but that help
Yeah.
people in your situation.
Yeah. I try to be a good person. I think I deserve it. I don't know. But yeah, and the thing is that I feel bad for here's the thing. I don't like shitting on the hospitals themselves, because like the doctors and the nurses and the people who run those places are just trying to do their best.
Well,
You know,
I'll amend that for you. The people
Okay.
that are actually working,
yeah, right.
that are doing the surgeries and are giving the care, all the way down from the cafeteria janitorial workers
Yeah,
up to the doctors. Now, when you get to where some of the doctors are like the chief doctors, I think that's where the disconnect starts,
yeah,
because they've been in it for so long. And I mean, yes, doctors should make a lot of money. I mean, good Lord, how much do you have to pay to be a doctor?
right. Well, you should at least make that back for sure.
Right. And I mean, so yeah, they should be able to pay off their student. I mean, everybody should be able to pay off their student loans, but
Yeah.
that's another issue altogether.
Well, the student loans are crazy as it is. That's a problem for people as well. There are a lot of people who are like struggling. Just hey, Jank, haven't seen you for a while. Sorry, Jake is in the comments over there on Twitch. Hello, he says. Glad to have you, Jank. Hope you're having a good day. Haven't seen you for a while. The thing is, I have done volunteer work in hospitals before. I've been to hospitals before. I've known doctors. I've known nurses throughout my life, what have you. The majority of them are good people who want to love their job, love helping people, and just want to do their best. But are hamstringed by the amount of debt that they have. And they feel like they can never get ahead. They feel like they're always under the pressure of the thumb of the hospital that they're working for.
Right.
They're not making, like, people don't understand is that the only doctors that make a shit ton of money are private doctors, specialists and private doctors. Even specialists don't even make a shit ton of money, because if you're a specialist who's private, sure. But if you're a specialist who, depending on where you're working, you might have to take in a certain amount of, like for me, the state pays doctors to take people like, within my situation, right. That kind of thing. And they get special like tax write-offs and stuff like that, what have you. But they're not making money, hand over fist, like millions of dollars. No, those doctors are private doctors.
Yeah, private. Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, I remember as a kid way back when, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, that you'd go to a doctor and that was it. That was the bottom line. You just went to the doctor.
Right.
And we didn't have all these specialists. And I mean, now some of it I understand. Yeah. Heart specialist. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Orthopedics. Absolutely.
Sure.
But then it's like some of them, it's just like, well, why couldn't you just lump that in with this? I can't think of a specific example, but it's just healthcare is just, it's run, like you said, by profit corporations. Yeah. Insurance was probably one of the worst things that ever happened. Because before insurance, you could pay your doctor with a dozen eggs and 2 chickens.
Yeah. You could fix your doctor's car for him and get an operation,
Or, get money off or something. Yeah, work in barter and trade.
Trade. Or something like that.
It's like, then that's like what I was saying the other day when you were talking about the painkillers. It's like the doctors are like, oh, yeah, okay, we have to do all this and this. And, oh, by the way, you have to start taking this particular pill.
Yeah.
Because the pharmaceutical and insurance companies are in cahoots together, and they're pressuring the doctors to put this crap out. Not as much as it used to be, but that's why yours truly was addicted to Vicodins and any of the hydrocodone family.
Yeah, well, it's all about profit. It's all about making the money. It's all about, and I would imagine that there are people who, who are doctors, who are trying to make a living, who are trying to get by, and they see, I think it's a lot of it is probably these pharmaceutical companies. I don't think it's like, let me put it like this. I don't think it's a doctor going, hey, I can get this pharmaceutical company, insurance company to pay me more for prescribing these medications, right?
No, you're supposed to twirl your mustache.
Yeah. I don't think for the most cases it's like that. I would like to believe that it's not. I think that probably in the situation these days is that you get a doctor who's trying to do his best to help the practice that he's at, or the hospital that he's working for, or wherever that he is at, move forward and take care of the patients and what have you. But you might be struggling yourself. You might be having a hard time paying your mortgage, or maybe you're going through a divorce, or maybe you're having a hard time paying your student debt back and what have you. And your credit is shit. So it's hard. This happens to doctors too. And here comes along a pharmaceutical rep who wants to pimp this new medication out to you, and basically says, hey, if under the table here and no one's looking, but if you could, bring up your numbers and how much medication that you prescribe from here, maybe we could do you a little favor. Yeah. Maybe we can help you with that mortgage, or maybe we can, give you a little money under the table. Ethically, that doctor might be thinking to themselves something like, well, maybe they start to convince themselves, because that's what desperation does. If you're desperate in a situation and someone gives you an out, you start to rationalize that as being acceptable, and you start to justify that to yourself, because that's what desperation does to us. And I think that a lot of these pharmaceuticals take advantage of the doctors. They take advantage of the people who are in charge of those things, and I know there are a lot of states now that have made it illegal, and if they get caught, they can lose their licenses. But It's hard, man. It's harsh. You know? Oh, you saw the private chat there, did you, Wolf?
I'm looking at the comments because I'm listening to you, but messing around.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
And yeah,
It's pretty cool, huh?
yeah, it's all right. All of the comments are still on this little what I'm looking at on this website, the evmux.com. That's evmux.com for all your streaming needs.
Oh yeah. But they're still on here, but I deleted them on the. I put them in a timeout.
Yeah,
on
I saw
YouTube and
that.
got rid of that. Yeah, so.
Wow.
Yeah, people are. I could smell a troll a mile away.
Yeah,
It's
that was the commentary that was running in my ear as everything was updating.
yeah. Well,
Troll
it's
sniffing.
yeah, troll sniffing. Well, there's certain things after a while you realize people don't talk about. In a chat, in a live stream,
Yeah.
people don't come into a chat and they don't start talking about how they're going to prison.
Or how they were probing aliens and been on a ship and they're about to disclose everything.
Right.
Or the ones
Exactly.
I keep getting, we love your stream. We would like to sponsor you. And I just look up and said, dude, are you even watching? Because you're the only one.
It's just you.
I'll take your money, but dude, you ain't going to get anything out of it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
crazy.
It is insane what they're doing. Hey, let me ask you a question. I asked this question of Johnny yesterday.
I
don't know if you
was
were
watching.
Yeah, you may or may not have been watching at the time. It's a question that I want to ask people when they come on and they're a guest. And you can choose to answer this question if you want to or not. But I'm going to ask you that anyway. Can you tell me a recent moment of joy that you've experienced? Do you have a story about something that just doesn't have to be a big thing, but just even like a little thing, a little moment of joy that you've had recently? I'll give you an example. Is that Johnny gave the one of yesterday that his wife ended up buying an ice machine, a little ice machine that makes like 10 blocks of ice every 8 minutes, and he was excited because he lives in the desert and his refrigerator never makes enough ice. So he loves this little thing, and he said it just brought me so much joy to know that I was going to have ice. It's a cute little story. So let me ask you, Wolf, do you have any kind of like little story of joy recently that you've experienced?
On the advice of my attorney, I decided to decline. No. Watching that the other night. Seriously, this one's a little more personal. You'll like this.
Okay.
You know about it already.
Okay, go for it.
Back at the end of September, right when I was starting my new job, my stepfather went in for a bypass surgery, double, triple, quadruple, quintuple, I don't know. It was a lot.
Yeah.
He had one earlier in the year and everything went fine. We thought it was going to be okay. Well, he was in the hospital from the 27th of September until the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. We actually almost lost him.
No.
And to me, even though he was rough, he was beat up, and you can tell he was not very with it. Seeing him come into my house on Thanksgiving was probably one of the most joyful things I've ever seen.
I can feel like, were you close with your stepfather?
Oh yeah, I said my father at first,
Yeah.
but I mean, don't get me wrong, me and my real dad now have a good relationship, but we didn't always, and my stepfather was more of a dad than my dad was growing up.
When did your stepfather come into your life?
I was 2.
Oh, so pretty early on then. So
Yeah.
pretty much for you, he's your dad.
Yeah, I mean, my dad
Right.
was still around. He was only absent from my life for about 3 years, and that was when I was 15. So
Does he
it's
get
not
along
like
with your stepdad?
No,
No.
they do not.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Meh. They're in different states and they don't have to see each other anymore, so that's all fine. But
Right.
it's actually kind of funny how him and my mom met.
How'd they meet?
He had a 1968 Ford Ranchero.
Oh, those are nice. I had a friend that had a 72 Ranchero.
Well, he later had a 74. Those are more the boat ones, or 76.
Yeah.
one of the two.
Yeah.
This one, he had it all souped up with all the right parts, like Edelbrock, hooker headers, a Hurst shifter. I mean, all the
Right.
hot rod stuff. I'm not a car guy, so sorry anyone that's watching. Um, However, he had this thing tricked out. And
Right.
he was in the Air Force at the time, and my mom and I literally lived like right across the street from the Air Force base. Well, he moved to that place as well, and I was walking down the street one day and I see this really cool car with this shiny thing, and I just pull it right off. Turned out I pulled the chrome trim off of the fender.
Oh,
My mom's freaking out. Oh my
sure.
God, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. What can I
A
do?
dumb boy.
Yeah. And he's like, well, cook me a home cooked meal. Is that all you want? He goes, thunk, and just hammered it back in. He goes, yep. And then about the same time, I don't know which story happened first. I had jumped off the back porch of our house and
Mhm.
split my head open. I got a nice little scar at the top of my head from it.
Yeah.
My mom carried me over to his house bleeding to take us to the hospital. And between
Aw.
those two incidents, they got together and they've been together for 46 years now.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That is a nice. So you've definitely known him for a long time. So I imagine that when he went into the hospital, that probably was very stressful. He probably pulled on your heart a little bit. Started probably thinking about all the times that you
It
guys have
wasn't
had together.
it wasn't so much when he went in because, like I said, he had one on his legs done earlier in the year, and he
Mhm.
bounced right back.
Right.
He didn't bounce back right away, and it was when things weren't going so well, and I had to make one of the hardest phone calls to my sister that I've ever had to make,
Right.
saying, "Hey, you need to get out here now." She lives in Indianapolis, and like I said I don't care that people know I live in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah. Yeah. So is
Um,
this an older sister or a younger sister?
Younger. I'm the oldest
Yeah.
out of all five of my siblings.
Okay.
But my dad has his group and my mom has hers.
Right.
My mom has my sister Amy and Michael, who's the one who got a spot of trouble, as we say.
Right.
And then my dad had Jared, Justin, and Jordan, my two brothers and my sister. Guess what letter they liked?
What?
J.
Jay?
Their mother's name is Joanne, so there you go.
You go. Well, so how did your sister respond when you had to call her? You say that was one of the hardest
She was
calls
very
you had to
supportive.
make.
She's very supportive. She has her own issues, as you know.
Yeah.
And very supportive, and said, okay, I'm going to see about getting some money together to get on the next flight. I was like,
Why
"All
was
right,
that a hard call? You say it was one of the hardest calls you've made. Why was that such a hard call?
because we thought we were losing him.
Right.
And I had to tell my sister that her dad's dying.
Yeah.
Turns out he wasn't.
Right.
Which is good.
Great.
But
But
yeah.
too close for comfort, right?
Yeah. I mean, there was
Yeah.
a lot of reminiscing and reflection going on for me personally at that time. And at the same time, I was doing all that stuff at the haunt.
Right.
So I don't
You're
know
going
how
through all
I did-
that.
and a new job.
Right. So you're dealing with all that at once, and your life is like moving you forward, and here is someone's who else's life who might be coming to a complete stop.
Right.
And I like to think of it like sometimes we travel, we travel the same roads, not literally, but like metaphorically, we travel the same roads as the ones we love, or at least we keep them in our sights. Sometimes they go off road and they go down a different path and what have you. But for those that we stay on the road's path with, when their car comes to a halt, ours does too. Right. And that's the thing, is we can be going down life, and that's a harsh thing. It's almost like when that kind of news comes up, everything screeches to a halt. Everything just kind of goes, whoa, and stops. And that becomes your primary focus for that time. And even though everything else is going on, your job, you still got to take care of that and other things. It becomes hard to focus on it because you're also worried about this other thing, that the reason you're stopped on the road. And
Right.
you-
Well, and all of those quote unquote distractions actually probably did me some good.
Yeah.
But there were contingencies in place if something happened, like work. They were very gracious. I told them what was going
That's
on.
nice.
Well, they called me
That's
and
nice.
they're like, why does this? What's going on with this note? And I explained the situation. They're like, oh, okay. Well, whenever you need to go, just let
let
your
us know.
supervisor know, and you can leave. It's not
That's
going to count
great.
against you. We're not going to point you. Just let us know, and just let us know when he's better, because I mean, what company would say, yeah, just come and go as you please?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and of
You're,
course,
you're working for a good place.
I did not take advantage of that. I mean, I actually probably should have taken advantage more than what I did,
Right.
in all honesty. But no, I didn't. And then at the haunt, because where it's out in the middle of nowhere, Iowa.
Yeah.
And if you look up Sydney, Iowa, there's nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, well, most of Iowa, let's be honest.
Right. The biggest city is Nebraska City, and I think it's about 20 miles away, so they do have some kind of civilization out there.
Right.
It's a cute little town, but my cell phone doesn't work there. I have US Cellular, and they're supposed to work everywhere, and it works barely. In some spots it's good, in some spots it's not. So I talked to the owners of the haunt, because they've got Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi bumpers all throughout the haunt.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need it. I don't want it, because I turn my phone off so it doesn't interrupt the experience for the guest.
Sure.
But if something happens, my girlfriend has been instructed to call either of you on Facebook Messenger. They're like,
Okay.
that's fine. Yep,
Right.
if something happens, we'll let you know. And yep. So I
Yeah.
had a lot of support with a
That's
lot
good.
of people.
That's nice. That must feel like that's what a person needs in that kind of time. The support of their friends and their support of their work, and to move forward. And you're very fortunate to have those two things, because a lot of people don't.
No. I mean, yeah, the haunt thing, that was all self-inflicted, but even my mom said, he wouldn't want you to not do it. He knows how
Right.
much you enjoy scaring the shit out of people. And I literally did. I mean, I had people peeing and pooping and
I'm sure you did,
chickening
man.
out. The only thing I didn't get is somebody puking.
Did you get anybody to puke, huh?
No, so I've got a goal for this year.
You guys serve food there?
No, but what I
See,
was
that's how you get that to happen. Start selling pretzels or something.
I'm right before all of that anyway.
Yeah.
But my spot in the haunt.
Mm.
You've seen my mask. I made it.
Yeah.
I was actually working on the new version earlier. I was cutting
Nice.
some holes in the top for the straps.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of using that same kind of scene, except when somebody comes in
Mhm.
and I'm sitting there I don't move or anything.
Yeah.
And then I move, and then there's a big gush of blood on the opposite wall.
Big boosh,
Yeah.
blood everywhere.
Little sploosh. Like that one guy I sent you the TikToks where he just grunts. He's like, "Oh, splotching." That dude cracks me up. You know who I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah, you sent me like his TikTok, right?
Yeah, he does. He cooks.
Yeah.
He makes a different meal, and you don't know he's making up his own language, but you know what he's saying.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And he'll point to hamburger and go, "Moo."
Moo. That's a cow.
Yeah. Oh, back on the Tina Turner thing.
Yeah, sure.
There's a gentleman I watch on TikTok. I think he's a DJ in your area, actually.
Okay.
Franco in the Morning.
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know where he's from. I thought he was in your area.
Yeah.
He did a really excellent Tina Turner tribute last night.
Really?
And I mean, of course, he played "Rolling on the River."
Yeah.
Both versions.
Right.
I forgot there was another version where she talks before.
Yeah.
He played that one, and then he played this one. I had never heard it because I mean, I'm not the hugest Tina Turner fan. I know Proud Mary and the stuff from the '80s.
Right.
Private Dancer, We Don't Need Another Hero, What's
Right.
Love Got, all that.
Well, that's when our generation kind of like discovered her.
Right.
You know, when when she kind of made her comeback.
I'll have to find it sometime, but he was playing one song. He never did say the title, or if he did, I skipped it because I was cleaning and cooking. But it was like a heavy wah pedal guitar.
Really?
And she just came on like nobody's business, just belting that out. I'm like,
Right.
whoa, I like this. This is
Yeah.
this is heavy, man.
And you know what the funny thing is? She had more success in Europe than she did here in the States.
Well, he was saying that nobody had heard from her in a while, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
contradict him because, you know, I only do that to people I know. But I had actually read an article not that long ago, within the last 6 months, about her that her health was declining, and she had
Yeah.
moved to Europe.
Oh, she
Because
might have
she
gone back.
Yeah, she was more popular there.
Well, she lived in Europe for like a long time, like a couple of decades. Like in the I think like in the late 80s she moved to Europe and stayed there for like quite a while. And it was because she had a lot more popularity in there
Well,
in Europe
that's where
than
the
she
money
had
is.
here. Yeah.
I mean, that's what David Hasselhoff should have done.
Yeah. Well, if you should have, that'd have been a good idea. Hey, give me 1 second there, Wolf. I'm gonna be
Yep.
right back, okay?
Yep, I gotta go grab something real quick.
All right, be
myself.
right back.
All right.
Okie dokie. I assume Wolf's still doing his thing.
Cracking.
Get everything worked out?
Oh yeah, yeah. I just had to grab something from the garage.
Nice.
Yes, it is. Hmm. Aha. I've been actually. I just went and grabbed it real quick, and I've been sitting here playing with
What?
their program here.
Yeah, it works pretty good. It's pretty easy. Like I said, it streamlines a lot of things for me.
Let's see if this worked.
There you are.
Nope, it did not.
I see you.
No, not that part.
Now I
knew
don't.
I knew my camera worked. I was trying to put my background on it
Oh,
because I'm actually seeing two of you.
yeah.
There's one where you're in front of your screen, and then there's one off to the side where it says live preview, and it's got you. with
Well,
your
it's
face.
so that you can see what I'm doing and what I'm talking about before I bring you in here, like to the
Right.
mains to the main screen.
Right. It's got like a second and a half delay.
Yeah, something like that. But still, I mean, I think they did a good job.
Yeah, I think this is pretty neat, actually.
There's the free version, does a lot of this already, and you get like a watermark and like up there, which is what I had the other day.
Yeah.
The only difference with the paid version is that you can stream to more places than just two. You aren't like the free one. You're only allowed to stream 2 hours a day.
right.
the-
Which is
with the
why
bi-
you had to jump
yeah.
off.
Yeah. I didn't like that, and I don't like watermarks that bug me. And just this is a good service. I wanted to support it, and I thought, $20 a month, that's not too bad.
Well, that's why when you restream it, you just put something over their little watermark.
Yeah, but then you have to like try and that's like a whole hassle and stuff like that.
Not
Takes
with
time.
DLLO.
Yes.
Put a little picture, like put your little logo picture that's over.
Put your own little on that, huh? That's true.
I'm pointing.
Yeah.
You can see me. Put your own little logo that you have at the bottom on the live preview.
Mhm.
Just put that over your watermark.
Yeah, it's true. There you go. And yeah, but I wanted the features in the basic package anyway. The other things that they offered, and I thought they were pretty good.
Oh, how much
And-
is that a month?
Well, it's if you get it for a year, it's like $19 a month. Basically, what it breaks down to. If you get it for like if you get it monthly, I think it's $24 a month. So you get a breakdown for purchasing it a year ahead of time.
And that's all due at once, right?
Yeah, well, if you go yearly, you got to pay it all at once. If you go monthly, you got to pay it 1 month at a time. Like I said, I think it's like $25, something like that. So
I don't
I will-
stream a lot, so
yeah. Well, I'm trying to get back more into it, man. I want to kind of like I feel like this would be a good time. I feel like I miss it a lot, and I feel like I made so many mistakes that I want to amend those mistakes.
right.
Like I feel I don't like feeling like a failure at things, and I really feel like I failed myself, and I want to
How
fix
so?
that. Well, in the sense of by streaming, I mean, you were with me. You've been with me since the beginning. You saw I used to have an audience, and I used to have people coming in, and and when the pandemic hit, a lot of that dropped off, and I started taking it personally. I tried not to, but I did, and I found it to be discouraging. And then it got to a point where hardly anyone was coming in, and I knew it was my fault because I wasn't doing things like making clips. I wasn't doing things like and putting them on YouTube. I wasn't
Yeah.
doing things like a lot of self-advertising. I wasn't,
There's some truth to that, because I mean, it's kind of funny how I found you. I used to be on Mixer
yeah,
all the time, and this happened. It's a big series of events. My girlfriend and her son got me an Xbox for Christmas one year,
Mhm.
Xbox One. And I'm messing around with it, and I look at it, and it says Mixer, and I'm like, "Oh, cool! You can mess with the bass, so I could
Right.
because I'm a
Yeah.
music type almost. I don't play, but
Mhm.
oh, that'd be neat." So I click on it, and I'm like, "Why would I want to watch somebody play a video game?" That was my first thought. I'm like,
right,
why? And Christian's like, well, some people they speed run. I'm like, okay, I get that. That'd be cool.
no,
This and that. Well, then I was like, well, I might get GTA 5 for the Xbox One.
right,
So there's a dude playing it. Let's see, what is RP? Let's just check this. And it role playing, of course.
right.
And it got to where it was almost like these guys were streaming so much it was almost like a television show from the time I got off work almost to the time I went to bed.
Right.
Because there was like 3 or 4 people that would rotate in and out of the same server.
Hmm.
And these guys would run into each other sometimes, depending on who you watched. Well, then I was like, okay, this is kind of neat. I started getting like hooked on that. And then I like hockey. I really like ice hockey. I always have. And I saw a guy on Mixer named Cranky Canuck. Rest in peace.
Right.
He'd get on there, and it was this old Canadian dude. He'd just be sitting there drinking his coffee, smoking cigarettes in front of his computer. And if you were cool with him, he had a heart of gold.
Right.
He'd help you do whatever he could, shirt off his back kind of guy.
Good guy.
Yeah, but if, like your instance earlier with the trolls,
Hmm.
he'd go off on them. It was so funny. He's like, well, yeah, I'd expect that coming from a kid whose mom was the meat tray at the trailer park. It's like, damn. And then he'd go back to being nice and funny. And
Right.
like, I cannot remember the dance that he did, but it had. Have you ever seen the old Seinfeld episode where the guy had all the albums that Kramer was trying to get?
Yeah.
It featured him on it, and his guy would sit there. There's this 60-some-year-old man sitting there doing this goofy dance. It's funnier than hell. Well, unfortunately, he did pass away.
No, it's too bad.
And it was like, well, that was the person I watched for a talk show.
Right.
And then and it was about the same time, or it wasn't too long after that Mixer died too, ironically.
Right. I remember that too. Yeah.
And so
I think-
I went to Twitch because of the people I was watching went to Twitch.
Right.
And I just jumped in the talking, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go into where I'm the kind of person I don't like watching a streamer that has over a certain amount unless I know
Sure.
them personally,
Yeah.
because to me that way I'm showing support for smaller streamers.
Sure. Thank you for your
And-
support.
Right. And you were one of the ones. You had a pretty decent number, if I remember right.
Yeah. At the beginning, I did. Yeah. I had to add an average.
One
Yeah.
of the things, I think somebody had rated you or something, because I never.
Yeah. I had that a lot of times in the beginning.
Because when I looked at it, it said 420.
Yeah.
That's how many people you had watching. I'm like, yeah, this is like, I gotta check this out. The dude with the purple. At the time, it was a red mohawk and beard.
No, it was purple. It was purple.
No, you were red then.
I don't think I've ever been red, dude.
Or you weren't purple because blue.
No, I was purple at the when I first started dyeing my hair. It was purple for years. I didn't start doing different colors till the last like 6 or 7 months.
I thought it was longer. Yeah. Anyway, but it's 420, a dude with a mohawk. It's colored. Yeah, we'll check it out. And like as soon as I got in there, it like dropped down to your normal average at that time
Yeah,
because somebody had rated.
which was it was around that time was probably about 15 to 20 people.
Right. And so I just kind of hung out and sat there and said hey and just kind of watched. And you basically replaced the dude I used to watch
Right.
in my viewing at the time. And then, of course, we both have grown and experiences and we become actual friends.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'll watch you and I'll watch this group that I'm not affiliated with, but I'm a big fan of called Scurryface.
Mm-hmm.
Go check out their website sometime, scurryface.com.
Okay.
They're a group of international haunters that have just kind of banded together and they try to do good things. And some of it's charity, some of it's not. But right now
Right.
they have a promotion going on or a voting thing, and one of my haunt people that's at my haunt is in the voting thing.
Right.
Good group of people though.
Right. There we go. Scary. I'm looking at it right now. Scurry face, right?
Yeah.
I got it. I got
Yep,
it down
that's
there
it.
below you. Very cool. In association with. Ooh,
Oh,
they
this-
got a big.
Oh, this dude does great video, and I'm sure he's not going to care that you're restreaming it.
Yeah, it's very cool. So, welcome to Scurry Face, a global entertainment organization dedicated to haunters, the haunt industry, cosplayers, and gamers. Also home to the ultimate online haunters contest, the Scare Actor Spectacular. Our goals are to unite and shine a light on these amazing people and to help them grow. We unite people who truly care for one another and what we all do. We also do promotional intros, commercials, recap videos, and promotional articles for haunted attractions and conventions. We no longer do reviews of haunted attractions. We're all about promoting the industry and the good people within it. Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, and if you'll scroll down, you'll see the that's Scare Cancer. That's one of
Yeah.
the things, and of course they got merch because who doesn't?
Sure, of course.
But you see that group A, B, and C,
Uh-huh.
and D. If you go down to D and you see Elysium,
Yes.
that's my haunt sister.
Oh, very cool.
So why don't you go ahead and click that? There you
Click that
go.
vote.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's it's basically they vote for each other. They've gone from a field of 32, so this is the first group of 5, the 5th round, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever wins at the end is the Scare Actor Spectacular Volume 5 or 6 champion or whatever.
That's
They're pretty good.
crazy.
They're pretty good people.
You know, I until you, I mean, I knew that haunted houses and things like that existed out there, but not to the level of like what you guys do and what
Well,
you're.
if you scroll back down,
Mhm.
that one that says Scary Acres, the,
Scary.
yep, right there.
Oh, right here in the middle. Okay.
Yep. That's actually Nebraska, and you can see on the side of the logo it says "Best of Omaha."
Oh wow,
That's
that's
one
pretty
of the,
scary looking.
that's one of the really good haunted houses in the area, and then, like I said, we're something different, but
Right. I just looking at their front page for Scary Acres. Woof.
yeah,
That's pretty scary.
yeah, it's showing the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does video and stuff too. He's a pretty interesting dude.
Right. Oh man, I'm just amazed right now because this is the first time I've used the screen share
Yeah.
feature, and what it's doing is it's letting me use just share the tabs, so I can select which tabs I want to share.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I'm
So,
in one of those videos. I don't know if it's on there, but they don't do reviews for
mhm.
haunted houses, but they'll go to them.
Yeah, because they don't want to make like animosity or
Well, no, I mean they go to them and they'll hang out,
right.
and it's usually a good time. At least the time I went to. It's funny now that I watch the video again. It's like, oh, I know that one. I know that one. I know that one. I never knew there was a subculture of haunters like
Yeah, that's
there
what I
is.
meant. I never knew that too until I met you.
And really, I didn't know until probably about 2 or 3 years ago. Because the Wolfman character technically isn't a haunted house attraction. He's
Yeah,
gone to
it's
them, he's
yeah,
been featured at haunted houses, but it's usually with the Wolfman character, it's more of a he wants everybody to have fun, but when
yeah.
the shit gets real and things start happening, he's the first one out the door because he's a big chicken shit. That's Larry.
Right,
Um, so I wasn't really into the what goes on behind the scenes at a haunt.
right.
And I had worked at a haunted house like a couple of times. Like there was one at a school where I dressed up like the Crow because that movie was popular at the time, and
Right.
I just beat the hell out of a room. They put a bunch of blue mats in it, and I was the crazy Crow. Um, I went one time last year, and I had a blast.
Yeah.
And even then, I didn't really see what all goes on behind the scenes. So then I reached out. I'm like, you know what? We haven't done anything with the TV show.
Right.
I mean, we've done things here and there, but nothing really steady.
Right.
I think I'm going to try this haunting thing. I want to work at a haunted house. It's like, well, I know I could go to Scary Acres, which is closer. And don't get me, I mean nothing bad about Scary Acres. It's an amazing place. The people there are wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really know anybody there.
Right.
I know like 2 or 3 actors there, and one of them, I know who he is, and he might have an inkling of who I am.
Right.
But he's also like my friend Mikey Taylor, who works on the show with me. This gentleman has got his fingers in a lot of different pies. He does haunt acting. He's a
Mm-hmm.
DJ. He's a local professional wrestler. He does weddings. He does acting. And the same with Mikey. He's on the show. He does acting. He's on. He has a position with the Nebraska Wrestling Hall of Fame. I'm not sure what it is. He's a commentator for a local promotion. Um, he's just does all this stuff. I mean, I know all these amazing people, and it's like, and I'm sitting here at home going, yeah, woohoo.
Right.
Um, but those are the two people I knew, and the first guy I just kind of knew him in passing. He, like I said, he might know who I am. He might now a little bit better. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But Sinister Sydney, not only did I know Mike and Lori, the owners, but there's a female named Ash. I don't know her screen name or I'd say it. I've known her for like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
She's been a good friend of not only mine but Cammy's as well. And I'm like, all right. Speaking of Mikey, he just texted me on the Creature Feature group chat. That's funny. I knew Ash. I kind of knew who Elysium was, and I knew the guy that I had worked with that one night, kind of. Anybody else, it was just kind of like, okay, I'm just going into this not knowing anybody.
Right.
We go in there. First, Mike, Reverend Gravedigger, calls a meeting at the beginning of September, the weekend after Labor Day, because he figures everybody's out of town. And it's an orientation for new actors, and if anybody else wants to come, go ahead. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I know I remember telling you about the stuff as it was going on. He also gave us a PDF, and I'd never heard of this stuff either. But he gave us a PDF on how to scare.
Okay.
And it's like, it's almost like, and I don't get religious or hypocritical or blasphemous, but it's like almost like a Bible for haunters.
Well,
and
that's cool.
I skimmed through it at first, and then I went the first weekend because this year we're only open Fridays and Saturdays in October, and Saturday was the first this year.
Okay.
And so we did that one run, and then I went back to that PDF and looked through it again to see if I could find any more juice for what I'm doing or whatever. And it turned out I was doing what's called a statue scare.
Ooh. That's where you're still and you wait for them to come close to you and you jump out, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Same thought principle, but my gag is they walk through this little dollhouse, and there's this little 14-year-old girl. She's so funny. Felt like a grandpa almost. She comes, she's all dressed up, white makeup, hollowed out eyes, wants to play with the dollies because it's actually an old hog shed, but on one side of it there's just a bunch of old dolls that there's just placed in this. She's like, come play dollies with me.
Right.
And she would chase them into my room. Well, my room was darker, and it only had a statue, and then there was a table with a dummy that had been chopped up. Like you could see her guts, and half of her boob was off. She was naked.
Right.
Her name was Barbara, by the way.
Naked Barbara.
Yeah, me and Barbara got to know each other quite well because that's who I was with all October.
Right.
Amy's like, who's Barbara? So I sent her a picture. She's like, you're weird. But people would walk in, and Barbara's sitting on this mortician table. I'm standing behind the table, and at the time I had a knife.
Right.
And I'm just completely still. Now, you've seen the mask that I made. It's
Sure.
basically a latex, flesh-looking, almost burnt-looking mask.
Very scary.
And it's got long hair. Almost think kind of like if somebody caught the wrestler Mick Foley as Mankind on fire, that's what it would look like. A apron that looked like it was made out of human faces, and long black gloves that went to my elbow, which is important.
Yeah.
because the shirt I was wearing was able to tuck into that.
Aha.
So you saw no skin.
Skin, right.
It's dark anyway.
Right.
You walk in there and all you see is one statue right to your right, one statue to your left.
Right.
The statue laying down with all of her guts. They're like, oh, okay, this is boring.
Right.
I wait till they walk about halfway through. Because
Right.
I'm just sitting there really still and I'm watching them. And a lot of times
Right.
I'll have my eyes, I blacked out my eyes too.
Right.
And I'd have them halfway closed to where I could just see them. And when I'd see like the middle of the pack get right in front of me at 12 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
all I would do is just scrape that blade across the table. Metal on metal. Oh my
Right.
God.
Screech.
People piss themselves, literally. And then if I was feeling extremely froggy, I would go around to my right hand side because the door and the exit was on my left,
Right.
and I would chase them out of the room. And then sometimes not only out of the room, but onto the wooden bridge beyond and into the cemetery beyond that, just depending on how froggy
That's
I was
great.
feeling. Yeah. So I've got
Oh.
to figure out something new this year because people that have gone, they're going, oh yeah, this guy's going to scare us. So what I'm thinking is I might
Mhm.
actually use my old mask from last year and put that dummy there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'd be the one on the other side.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Switch it up.
Yep. Because people that's been there last year is going to expect that.
Yeah,
and then they
that's
come
true.
next year, they're going to be like,
Can't do the same thing 2 times in a row.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
well, one season in a row.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
And it's like, we can't have Grogu trying to find another Jedi to learn the ways of the Force. It's already happened.
Back when I had a house and before I met Tam, for Halloween, I used to love Halloween. I used to go all out for Halloween. One year I hung myself from a tree and I made myself look like I was just like a hanging scarecrow kind of thing. Looked completely
Nice.
fake. I had basically it was I just had a rope that was attached to the tree. I had a fake noose around my neck that looked like it was attached to the rope, but it wasn't. And then, but the rope itself was attached to like around my chest and then around my waist, and it was kind of like I sat in it, and
Wow.
it wasn't that uncomfortable. And I would wait for people just to walk by, and I'd let 1 or 2 people go by, and then third person come by, and I just like that at them, and they would like freak.
Now,
And
see
then
what I would have done to. I would have sung, if I only had a brain.
The other thing that I would do is sometimes, and I couldn't do this every year. I would have to like do this every like 3 years or something like that, which is I would sit. What I would do is I would cover my body up from head to toe in clothes. I would have like shoes and socks and my boots on, and then I would have my jeans tucked into my boots, and then I would wear a long sleeve shirt with gloves, and I would wear this really nice, very cool looking, I had it for years, rubber skull mask, right? And it was like the kind you put over your head, and it looked really good. And I would have that on, and then I would put like a hat on my head, right? And then I would take dried grass, right? And I would stuff it down my sleeves, so it looked like it was coming out of my sleeves. And I would stuff it down my shoes, so it looked like it was coming out of my shoes, around my
Nice.
neck, so it looked like it was coming around my neck. And I would sit on my front porch in a lawn chair, and I would just have a bowl of candy and a sign that said, "Please only take 2." Right? And people would come up, and it would be families. It would be like little kids and their parents, and bigger kids and their parents sometimes, or just little kids on their own. And they would come up, and they would be there very hesitant. They'd be very like, "Is this guy real?" Right? And I would just so perfectly still, and they'd do the thing like tap my foot to try to get me to move, but I wouldn't react. And and they would like tap my hand to try to get me to move. I wouldn't react. I'd let one person come up and take candy, and I'd like the next person come up, take the candy. Then maybe, depending on how many people there were, I would pick like, okay, when am I going to do this? And then I'd pick one person to just like, rah, like come out of them like that and grab their hand. And not only would that kid like just scream running, the parents that were like 6 to 10 feet away would jump back and just start like, whoa, what's going on? They'd get, of course I wouldn't do it to like little kids.
Right.
I'd let them do it.
You have to be 12, at least 12 to go through our home.
Right.
So.
But if a little kid came up with a parent, and if the parent wanted to see if I was real, after the little kid took the candy, I'd scare the shit out of the parent.
Yeah, when they go to turn around, just step up behind him. Hey, you forgot something.
I used to love doing that. It was so much fun. So I totally get your vibe, man. I totally get why you like it. And
my stepdad had a similar thing, and I think I've told you this before, where instead of sitting out on the thing, he had one of those old red-colored wood lawn furniture chairs on this front porch with the flowered cushions that had the little like table in between it. It was all one piece, one of those 1980s lawn furniture that everybody was buying.
Yeah.
We had one. It was on the front porch. Well, just on the other side of the front porch was their bedroom. So he did something similar, and he had a pumpkin sitting there, like a jack-o'-lantern.
Okay.
Well, they didn't know it was a battery-operated jack-o'-lantern because they didn't really have those back then, like the candle was.
Right.
And people would come up, and he would sit there in the bedroom, and his same thing, take two. And they go to take three. He goes, I said two. And they would just like look around. I'm watching you. Because he had a little bitty microphone so he'd just be sitting there in the bedroom and he'd fuck with people. It was great.
I used to do this thing where when I was a teenager, I had these little small like walkie-talkies, little radio walkie-talkies. And whenever I would go to someone's party, like at their house or something like that, I would bring the walkie-talkies with me and some duct tape. And what I would do is I would go into the bathroom and I would lift the tank on the toilet, and I would put the walkie-talkie, like tape it underneath the lid of the toilet, right? And just set it right back down. And what I would wait to do is for someone to go use the bathroom. And I would just go something like, "Oh my God, what the hell is that smell?" The walkie-talkie, right? I'd go, like something like that. Makes a weird sound. One time I did it, and this guy goes running out of the bathroom, and he's got his pants around his legs. He's trying to pull his pants up. He's going, "I think your toilet's going to explode." Like, we're all, "What did you do to it?" "Nothing, man. It's making these weird sounds." He's stumbling on the floor. He's trying to pull up his pants, and everybody is just laughing so hard. Everybody's, but you couldn't do it. I couldn't do it that often because people would catch on after a while. They started going, "All right, did you bring walkie-talkies again?" I'm like, no, I didn't this time. So I always had to come up with like something new. It was fun.
The good old days.
The good old days when you didn't have any responsibilities and life was just about exploring, the world.
Weren't uptight about stuff. It's like everything's offensive. No, it's not. It used to be like fun and a challenge to offend people.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, I would say like shooting fish in a barrel, but then I'd get people against guns mad at me and PETA. So so you see where I'm at.
Well, you see, the way you get around that is you train animals to shoot guns.
Tactical attack squirrel. I like it.
That's how you appease both PETA and the gun lobby. Start arming bears.
I mean, I don't know if it was and I'm not trying to bring up anything, but I don't know if it was a national or a local story because I probably read it on my Google timeline. That's where I read a lot of stuff.
Right.
Some school got upset with a teacher because she
Hmm.
showed them a Disney movie that
Oh,
had a
yeah.
character that was gay.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that.
I'm
That
like,
that teacher was on TikTok. I saw her TikTok and
I'm just
stupid.
like, okay, you making a big deal out of it is probably going to make more of a lasting impression than what they saw in the film.
Yeah.
In
Right.
reality, in
No one said
reality,
anything kids wouldn't have just cared.
well,
you know.
okay, like an example, and you'll appreciate this because you know exactly who it is. When I was a kid, one of my favorite people to see on TV was Paul Lynn.
Sure.
He was hilarious.
Paul Lynn was fucking hilarious. Oh, you're talking about like even on Bewitched
Bewitched,
or
Samantha,
oh,
gonna get-
Samantha
we're
or
gonna get
Hollywood
even.
Squares.
We're
No
gonna
one
get
ever,
even with Endora.
no one ever replaced Paul Lynn on Hollywood Squares. No one was
Right.
ever as funny as he was. Yeah,
And yeah, he wasn't open because back then you couldn't be, but
it was
Yeah.
obvious.
right. I mean, and then if you ever seen his Halloween special, if you had any doubt, I think that pretty much. And that's great because you know what? I
Yeah.
still love him. He is hilarious. I saw
Yeah.
him as in Bewitched as a kid, and that's where I started to like him. And then he, like you said, on Hollywood Squares, it's like they would ask him a question, and it was always something kind of dirty,
Yeah,
but not quite. And you didn't know if he was talking about a guy or a girl.
yeah,
He
Yeah.
was always very vague,
Vague.
and dirty.
yeah,
Well, I just have someone come over and have coffee, or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's a horrible impersonation, but
No, it's good. It's good. But I get what you mean, man.
but I would just crack up a lot as a kid. Well, then there was a cousin on my granny's side. Now that's a side of my family that was the more redneck from down south,
Right.
and they would always talk like that, kind of a little bit slow with the twang.
Sure. I know what you mean. I got
They're-
relatives
they're-
like that
They're
too.
from around Dale Hollow Creek, Kentucky.
Yep. I got friends in down there in Nacogdoches as well.
And so we have that mindset, and I'm not trying
Yeah,
to stereotype, but back then that was pretty much the norm.
Right.
I had a cousin or an uncle or a relative, I don't know who he was. I was told to stay away from him, and I found out why.
Hmm.
Because he's gay.
Oh,
But
that's
yet
too bad.
they let him dress as the Easter Bunny to come to our house, but they're like, yeah, you stay away from him.
Yeah, that's too tad. That's sad.
And they didn't like the fact that I thought Paul Lynn or Uncle Arthur was funny. That's what I called Uncle Arthur because that's who he was.
Yeah.
Bewitched. I
Yeah.
thought he was hilarious even on Hollywood Squares, and they did.
I loved it when Paul Lynn would come on Bewitched.
Oh yeah, those are some of my favorite episodes with him.
Oh,
in it.
absolutely.
I mean, Endora was okay, but she was more dry and dramatic. That almost sounds like the hedonism bot.
I saw something about Elizabeth Montgomery just the other day that was talking about her time on Bewitched and how I guess she didn't get along with Dick York that well, you know, the last Darren.
Okay, the skinny
And
one.
she wanted to quit the show about, I think, she basically did like 1 or 2 more seasons for them, but they paid her like a ton of money at the time. What was unheard, especially unheard of, especially for a female actress. And also, a lot of people don't realize is that she also had producing credits in the show.
Yeah.
So like she was a big part of making sure, you know, the so she made money off that show.
Yeah.
Not just for her being an actress, but afterwards in reruns and
Oh, yeah.
things like that.
And when she would have her twin sister, was it Sabrina?
Sabrina, yeah, the
That was the
black
hippie?
hair.
I always cracked up, and I can't remember the neighbor's name, but God, they would always mess with those people.
I
And
don't. That's
even as a kid, I'd sit there and watch that show, and I'm like, now wait a minute. They show them pulling up in this old car to this nice house,
right.
and they get inside, but when they go outside, the grass is fake.
Yeah, or the backyard. Backyard. That's one of the things I always thought was hilarious about that show was that, like, I remember watching it one day, and they're in the front of the house, and there's this grass, and the grass is this green grass, and the neighbor's house is the exact same green grass they do, and then they decide to go into the backyard, and they go in the backyard, and all of a sudden this grass becomes this plastic shiny looking
AstroTurf
kind of grass
that you can buy at the time at your local Kmart.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I don't know if they could ever do a show like that these days. I mean, they've had magic shows and stuff like that, but that show had a certain kind of humor to it that you
it
really
had
don't see.
almost a childlike innocence to it. Like
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of those shows did. Like
Sure.
I Dream of Jeannie.
Sure.
That's another one. I mean, Gilligan's Island. You have to suspend belief that they got lost. How long were they gone? They got lost and nobody can find them, and yet old boy could make a radio out of a coconut, but he couldn't figure out how to either A, fix, or B, make a new boat.
Yeah, well, my other thing, the thing about I Dream of Jeannie and Gilligan's Island that I which was that always just like never like I like they were fun shows to watch. I watched them as a kid, and then I got a little older and started watching them. I think it was around like 11, 12 years old where I started asking.
Mary Ann and Ginger's like, hey, what's up?
Well, no, I started wondering after a while. I started wondering if these people are on this island so long, how come they're not fucking? Like,
I thought that, and then I also thought,
like, genie, you got a genie.
hey, you're not like saying, hey, I want you to do this, and this.
Yeah. You know, you can't like if I was 13 years old, if I had a genie, I would be like, okay, you need to make me this girl, and you need to make me this girl.
I'm just gonna be quiet because I'll get you banned.
You got to give me X-ray vision, you know?
Right?
But the Gilligan's Island one was the one that just did not ever make sense for me.
Yeah, because even okay, the hows they explained it. They go with luggage everywhere.
Yeah.
But what about Ginger and Mary Ann?
Yeah,
they would change their clothes.
Yeah.
At first, Mary Ann was wearing like almost a bikini-esque flannel type.
Right.
And then she started wearing different ones.
Right. Like where'd they get all the clothes?
Yeah, it's like
Ginger has a new dress on and
right,
and
like a
whatever.
sparkly rhinestone.
Yeah.
I mean, and then to come to find out that, you know, they were only like, I read it was something. No, it was the movie where they were like not very far from a resort when all this happened. They were like within not swimming, but definitely like a small raft where you could just like lash your wall that you made for your home together and float across ye old waters.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the old joke is from what was that movie? There was a movie in the 80s about, and I remember Bob Denvers was in it, and he kind of played a goofy character. But I remember Bob Denvers was sitting at a bar, and the bartenders listening to Bob tell some story about something, and the bartender says something. Oh, that's crazy. And Bob Denvers, he says, I'll never forget this line. He says, you think that's crazy? I once knew a guy. He goes, I once knew a guy who was so smart he could build a nuclear reactor out of a coconut and a vine, but he couldn't fix a 2-foot hole in a boat.
Yeah. That's great.
That was me. Anyway, well, if I got to go, I got to take Dax out to go potty, and I got to feed him and all that fun stuff.
Gotta eat too, so.
Yeah, I might be
chatting
back
with you, brother.
tomorrow. It's nice talking to you. Thanks for joining me. It was good. We'll do this more often. Thanks for hanging out with me. And for everybody else that's still watching, thanks for joining me. Make sure that you come back, follow me on Mastodon or wherever, or here or wherever, so that you can be informed of when I stream again. Take care of yourselves. Have a great day, and we'll see you later. Bye, everyone.